Hey everyone, I am Samantha Tiara, and welcome to another episode of Chats. I have with me a very special guest. I know I say all of my guests are special, but this is really a special guest. We first interviewed her back in maybe 2017, 2018, but I've got the amazing Alaina Renae. Welcome back.
Well, hello there. Me back.
Absolutely. So we are here live at the Grub Art Soul Fest. You are performing this evening. So we're looking forward to seeing you perform. And so really, I want to just get right into, the music, the artistry, and all of the wonderful stuff. So can you tell me a little bit about, what made you first fall in love with music and writing, all that good stuff?
Life. Honestly, like all the stuff that you go through, there is a song for literally everything that you've ever been through and everything. And I felt like the best way to express myself. So I just started writing. And then I've been performing and getting paid for it, I should say, since I was 5 years old. But I've been singing since I was 2. So I started doing that and I loved it. Like, it doesn't have to be paid or anything like that. I'm just saying I love music. I love singing. I love being on stage. I love it.
That's what's up. So, knowing your history in music, I know you've done the group thing before. I know you've been in groups before. But what made you want to kind of step out and do a solo thing?
In a group, you can get a sample and a taste of your personality, but when you're by yourself, people can actually get a chance to see you. So I wanted people to understand and get to know me. So not just in a group setting. You can see me in a group setting, but get to know Alaina Renae.
Absolutely. Now let's go back to your debut album. I remember the album. I remember streaming it. I remember seeing you perform live. Each song I feel like has a different story. You don't have to talk about all the songs, but can you pick out just a few songs and kind of what inspired those songs?
I will say number 2. I wrote that song in the middle of the floor with tears rolling down my face, and what inspired it was just going through a really bad breakup and not wanting to be like that bitter woman, but still needing to get some stuff off my chest. So I just wrote it out on some paper and just started singing it, and that's what happened. And the rest of the stuff on there, like I love Loving, I did that with Kiki Wyatt's brother, Kiever West. Sorry, Kendall Wyatt wrote that. I did a lot of different things, and they all spoke to different parts of my life. So whether it was a good time, like Loving, well, I'm like in love and all that good stuff, or it was You Made a Woman Out of Me, where your relationship, your bad breakup made you grow up.
I love it. And again, I remember seeing it live, and I still play it to this very day. Want to say it was the chocolate. We're not going to talk about that on live. We're not going to talk about that. But anyway, just know it gets played. So you've charted before, Billboard, you've had music on the radio. Like, how does that feel?
Kind of the same way it feels now when I have people wanting to take pictures with me or wearing shirts with my name on it. It's surreal. Like, this is the stuff that I pray for, whether it's big, small, or whatever. I ask God for all of it. So it's humbling, and it makes you feel amazing because you're like, this is what those late nights were for. This is what those tears are for. This is for that. I'm an independent artist. Born and raised in Gary, Indiana. I live in Indianapolis, but born and raised in Gary, Indiana. And I always say I'm just a little black girl from Gary, and I was on the Billboard with no major label on my own. So that's a big accomplishment. So.
And you know what? Speaking of being from Gary and kind of transitioning to Indy, Naptown, what was that like for you? How do you feel? How do you keep yourself grounded in that kind of knowing where you came from, you're in a new city, and just kind of where you started to, thinking about the journey of where you're at now?
Like, I'm born and raised in a church. So that's the foundation of everything. And once you understand that the stuff that you pray for, God can take it away at any moment, then you recognize you're not about to be out here like that. So then what he does is send angels in your life, like my family, my friends, my manager, Corey. Like, she's not going to have me out here looking crazy. I'm not about to be out here being disrespectful. I love where I'm from. I love where I live and everything like that. I'll go anywhere else. I'm still Alaina. No matter if I'm singing to 3 people or 300,000, I'm still Alaina.
I love it. Now, you said that you're an independent artist, but you've worked with some national artists a little bit, not a little bit, but a lot. Can you talk a little bit about some of the national artists that you worked with? How has that impacted your career?
I've opened for Kim, for Al Green, I work with Johnny Gill, I work with Tank, I work with a lot of different people. I'm going to be honest, the one that probably had me starstruck was Shirley Murdoch. And that's just because I grew up in the 80s, so I didn't have records. So the only record that I owned was Shirley Murdoch's album. So to see her on an album and because I thought it was foreign to see her on an album, and then to work with her in real life, unbelievable.
That I'm sure that took your mind away. That blew your mind.
Hi, Shirley. You know, like,
So
like I was singing to. I was, oh my God, it's cringy. I was so corny, but I would do it all over again. I love her.
I love it. So speaking of the artists that you worked with, who are some of your bucket list of artists that you would love to work with in the future? And we're gonna put it in the atmosphere.
Listen, if Jill Scott said I'm coming out with another neo soul album or soul up, whatever, I'm in there. Fantasia needs somebody to come and sing with her. I'm right there. So I love Jill Scott. I love Mavis Staples. Absolutely love Mavis Staples. Rest in peace, Nancy Wilson. If I had an opportunity to work with her, I absolutely would. So just people like that. Lauryn Hill, if she ever comes out with a album number 2, I'll be right there.
Listen, everybody knows I'm a big Jill from Philly fan. So if you perform with Jill, just can you remember the small people?
Well, we both small together. I can't forget you. We both small together.
That's true.
You're the only person that I know outside of my mom I look eye to eye to.
That is. So switching gears, let's talk a little bit about Jim Irsay. I know you've been touring with Jim. Talk a little bit about that.
That's insane. So my birthday is October 17th. My manager called me and she said, "Hey, Alaina, what are you doing? What do you want to do on October 15th?" And I was like, "Nothing. I'm going to Chicago, kick it with my friends." She said, "I have an opportunity for a photo shoot." Okay, she didn't go into details about it. Whatever. It's before my birthday. Let's do it. I show up. It's sprinters everywhere. It's amazing guitars. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, "Yeah, this is for Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts." I'm like, okay, so in my mind, this is just a photo shoot. So they asked us to sing right then and there. So I got with the other girls that were there, created some backgrounds, learned it right on the spot, sang. Cool. I went off and did my thing in Chicago, had a good time. I'm bugging my manager like, "I just want to sing the national anthem for the Colts game." She was like, "Yeah, I need to talk to you." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" So she says, so he was looking for some background singers because he's been going around touring and doing this and this and this. And I'm like, me? So it was amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. Like, I'm working with Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I'm working with Kenny Arnold. He's like top 3 drummer in the world, in the top 3. I'm working with Michael Ramos, Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, Mike Mills of R.E.M. Like, I'm working with rock and roll legends, like touching them. It is insane. Jim Irsay is ridiculously nice. He is ridiculously giving, and he loves music.
I love it. Come over here just a little bit more. I love it. So, yeah, I love it.
We'll be doing our thing in September. So I think it's September 9th and 10th. So, you know, he has like the museum where he has all of that dope, amazing stuff. So we'll be doing the show here. I know he'll be doing the museum part September 9th and 10th at Lucas. So you got to come check it out. Tickets free, so come check it out.
Okay, we'll definitely make sure to support. One other question for you, because you write, you sing. Do you have a preference, or do you just love doing it both?
Performance.
You like performing more so than the writing. Well, why so?
When you're writing, you have to confront those demons. So that stuff that you tried to hide. So that's why I said when I wrote number 2, I had tears rolling down my face because it took me back to that space. So sometimes I sing and sometimes I don't, but I love performing. I love looking in your face. I love bringing the audience in. I love giving an experience. Writing, you can't get that all the time. That's a personal experience. I want you to be able to just experience Alaina Renae. So
I love it. And what is next for you? I know you've got, things coming up. You mentioned September, but in the meantime, what's coming up for you?
I'm still going to be doing the tour with Irsay, still coming out with music, still doing live shows. Just you name it, I'm doing it.
So you got a T-shirt line. Let's talk a little bit more about the T-shirt line and, what inspired that.
When I do shows, sometimes I may do a track show, I may do a band show. You're going to come and get an experience. So I had some people come to me and say, "Listen, I'm getting something different every single time, and I support Alaina Renae no matter what. You have any T-shirts?" And I said, say less. So I got in touch with my niece, my niece Jaquel, and she makes them. I'm talking about the presser at home. So every single shirt that you get is handmade. That's not a big company, black-owned business, all that stuff. That's straight, I'm sorry. That is straight our business, straight our company. My niece does that, and it's a humbling experience watching people wear your shirt, your name, your brand on their chest. That's like Superman. So I'm feeling super proud.
And with the shirts, how do we purchase it on your website as well?
Hey, just come to Alaina Renae. On Facebook, it's Alaina Renae, like literally everything, so you cannot forget it. Send me a message, write it on my page. I'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. And I want a shirt as well, too. So I got you. All right. Again, thank you, Alaina. You have been amazing. It's always great catching up with you. I'm Samantha Tiara. You have checked us out on another episode of Chats. Do not forget to like and hit the subscribe button. Until next time.